Have you ever gone to the mall looking for the perfect pair of distressed denim jeans, but then you left the stores frustrated because they just don't have what you need? Well, in this video, I teach you how to make your very own distressed denim jeans. Here is a sneak peek of what the jeans will look like at the very end once we're finished with the entire process. Welcome back to Whitney Styles YouTube channel, where I share fashion, beauty, and style tips to teach you how to slay life without breaking the bank. On this channel, I do a lot of outfit inspiration videos, but I also do fashion related DIY projects just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. Please be sure to watch the entire video until the very end if you want to see how I style my DIY denim jeans. Now let's get straight to the video. Just like every great tutorial, I figured I would start this out by showing you the supplies you'll need for the project. Step number 1, gather your supplies. I use this 4-blade razor a little bit later in the video. You'll also need tweezers that you can pick up from any hobby store. I use fabric scissors in the video. I prefer these over household scissors or office scissors because they are sharper and a little bit smaller. And then you'll also need a marker. Step number 2, try your jeans on. If you're worried about ruining a pair of nice jeans, then you can always use an old pair of jeans you have laying around the house, or you can buy some jeans from a thrift store to experiment with. I prefer fitted jeans that stretch and cut off at the ankles. Mine are from Love Culture. Step number 3, design and mark up your jeans. I always start in the knee area. I like to have large cutouts in this space. So wherever you see curved lines, that will be like a circular design once we start cutting. I do not like my jeans to be symmetrical, so on one leg I'll make the cutout just a little bit bigger than it is on the other leg. I like to have cutouts in the knee area and then also in the thighs, and then add some additional lines in for anywhere you like to do a fraying detail. Now that the prep work is done, it's time to get to work. Step number 4. Take your jeans off, lay them on a flat surface, and start cutting. But before I actually start cutting, I always pinch my fabric together, and I do this for 2 reasons. The first reason is to ensure that I'm only cutting the front side or the very top layer of my jeans. And the second reason is to create an entry point so that my scissors can easily slide through the cutting process. Once you have that entry point created, you'll just want to continue to cut along the lines that you already created when you marked up your jeans. I also recommend cutting out circle areas around the knee area just a little bit smaller than you might really want them to be, because once you put your jeans on, they're going to stretch to fit your body, and then the cutouts could be a lot larger than you anticipated. So do this in slow motion. I did speed the video up for the sake of time, but you want to move slowly, especially if you're using fabric scissors, because they are very sharp and I don't want you to cut yourself while you're making your jeans. The next step in my process is to repeat those exact same steps on my other pant leg. So I always start with the knee area. After I cut out that circle, then I move up to the thigh area and I cut out another circle. And just a reminder to make this area smaller than you need, because you can always go back and cut out additional fabric if you decide you want a little more skin to show on your knee or thigh. Step number 5, use your tweezers to pull away at the loose threads that are in those circle areas that you just cut out using your scissors. So the importance of this is to start the distressed look of your jeans. So just pull away at any loose threads that you find. If you have a lot of long threads, you can always cut them with your scissors too. But just starting to distress the jeans by doing this process. Remember the razor I showed you in the beginning of the video? Well, in step number 6, we're going to use that razor to distress the pockets of our jeans. So you just want to go in a back and forth motion, applying pressure, maybe a little bit too much pressure. But you want to go in a back and forth motion to distress the pockets of your jeans. This step is completely optional. You do not have to do it, but I'm a details person, so I like to add a little extra touch to all of the projects that I do. Moving right along to the other pocket, this is what it looked like before. I used the exact same razor technique, and this is what it looks like afterwards. The razor just created a small hole, which just adds to the distressed look and provides a little bit more detail in the pocket area. So this is the outcome. So we've spent a lot of time on the front of our jeans, but please don't forget the back side of your jeans. So use that exact same razor technique to distress a couple areas on your back pockets. This is completely optional, but I just think it helps with the overall look of your jeans to be more consistent front and back. Step number 7, check your progress. At some point, I think it's really important to try your jeans back on and make sure you still love the design. And if you don't, that's okay. You can just add some additional details. So what I'm doing here is just adding some lines and some small ovals that I'll use to make cutouts similar to the knee area, just a lot smaller. And then those horizontal lines will be used for a fraying detail that I'll show you next. Before I move on to the fraying technique, I wanted to show you what these 3 small ovals will look like once they're cut out. The difference in using an oval versus a straight line is that the ovals will allow more skin to show through once your jeans are actually on. Now it's time to use those horizontal lines that we drew on our jeans in the beginning of the video. You'll want to grab your scissors and cut 2 or 3 lines that are the exact same length in your jeans. As far as spacing goes, you can make them a couple centimeters apart or a foot inch apart. It's completely up to you, but you'll want to cut 2 or 3 lines that are the exact same length. So cutting the lines is the first step, and then the second step is where I'll show you a fraying technique, and the end result of that will be that the white thread is exposed to just give it more of a distressed look for your jeans. In the next part of the fraying process, I am going to use my tweezers to remove all of the colored threads. So in this case, the threads that I am removing are gray because my jeans are gray, but if you were doing this with blue jeans, you would be pulling away at the blue threads in your designated area. So I'm basically using my tweezers to remove all of the gray threads between those 2 slits that I made in my jeans a moment ago. So you want to gently pull at a downward motion to remove all of the colored threads, and it will look like this once the gray threads are removed. So next up, I'm going to do the fraying process, but on the opposite pant leg. For this pant leg, I did design it a little bit differently. So I did 3 slits instead of 2. I also changed the placement of my slits because earlier I mentioned that I don't like both of my pant legs to be identical. I like it to be a little bit of variation and just, kind of a different design on each pant leg. So here I am just pulling out the gray threads, and this process takes the longest. I always do it last because it's so time consuming and honestly my least favorite part. I also mimic the same fraying process underneath both of my pockets and underneath one of the knee holes on my leg. I did not film this part of the process, but I wanted you guys to know I did it, so if you want to see what that looks like, stay tuned for the final reveal. We're almost done plucking away the gray strands, and then after that it's just pretty much one more step before our DIY distressed denim jeans are done and ready to wear. Step number 10, machine wash and dry your jeans to give them more of a worn and distressed look. That wraps up another DIY project. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it useful, please give me a thumbs up. If you love this video, please be sure to share it on other social media platforms. As always, if you want to connect, you can add me at Whitney Styles on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Snapchat. So until we meet again, thank you guys so much. I appreciate you.